What happened on September 11th, 2001? In the early morning of September 11th, 2001, members of the Al-Qaeda terrorist organization boarded and hijacked 4 commercial planes traveling within the United States. 2 commercial planes were flown to New York City and subsequently crashed into the South and North Tower of the World Trade Center. Another plane was hijacked and flown into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. The 4th plane, which was believed to be heading towards the White House, was crashed in a field just outside Pennsylvania. Despite the pain 9/11 caused, America became stronger because of the attacks. Shortly after the attacks, patriotism in the U.S. was at an all-time high. Morning of September 11th, 2001. At 7:59 a.m., the morning of the attack, 5 hijackers boarded American Flight 11 heading for Los Angeles, California. At 8:15 and 8:20 a.m., 2 more flights from Boston and Dulles International Airport take off, heading for Los Angeles. Each plane has another 5 hijackers on board. Finally, the last flight, United Airlines Flight 93, takes off from Newark, New Jersey at 8:42 a.m. There are 4 hijackers on board. At 8:24 a.m., Mohammed Atta, an Afghanistani terrorist, accidentally alerts Boston air traffic controllers about the impending attack. This causes the Air Force and the Coast Guard to mobilize forces to defend against the attack. Attacks on American homeland. Unfortunately, at 8:46 a.m., Flight 11 crashes into the North World Trade Tower. After that, Flight 175 crashes into the South World Trade Tower at 9:03 a.m. At 9:05 a.m., President George W. Bush was alerted of the attacks on the World Trade Centers. Bush was in an elementary school in Florida at the time, but did not show panic once becoming aware of the news. Nearly an hour later at 9:37 a.m., Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. This attack caused U.S. airspace to shut down, immediately grounding all flights. At 10:02 a.m., thanks to the passengers and pilots of Flight 93, the plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania. Although the original target is unknown, it is likely that the plane was heading for the White House or the U.S. Capitol. Despite the apparent randomness of the 9/11 attacks, 9/11 was brewing years before the event. In 1988, Osama bin Laden founded Al-Qaeda. He called for the death of all Americans, referring to them as the worst thieves in the world today. After bin Laden amassed power in Afghanistan, the Taliban, and Al-Qaeda, he committed acts of terrorism towards Americans in the Middle East and on U.S. soil. Previously to 9/11, the World Trade Center was actually bombed by Al-Qaeda in 1993. Aftermath of the attacks. Death. 2,996 people passed away throughout the attacks, including civilians, fire and policemen, and hijackers. 343 firemen, who risked their lives to save others from the towers, perished by smoke inhalation or the towers falling on them. War. The George W. Bush administration immediately declared war on terror following the 9/11 attacks. Despite many Americans supporting the patriotic attack on Iraq and Afghanistan, the American military did not accomplish much while in the Middle East. The American military expanded the war into Iraq, but after approximately 20 years at war, they pulled out of Afghanistan and Iraq. Airline travel. Airline travel throughout the world has become more stringent. Security checks were designed to prevent contraband such as weapons from passing through. Security checks include X-rays, armed air marshals, and plane cockpit door reinforcement. TSA was formed to oversee all airport security and operations, which greatly increased the safety of airline travel. Government. A new cabinet in the United States government was formed due to the 9/11 attacks. The Department of Homeland Security was created to prevent terrorism and protect the people of America. Along with that, legislation such as the USA Patriot Act was formed. The USA Patriot Act ensures domestic security and protective surveillance. Thank you for watching my video on the 9/11 attacks. I hope this video opened your eyes to the true nature of the attacks and why it is so imperative that America prevents these from happening again.